Are you looking for a lightweight travel camera that won't break the bank but still give you professional quality photos? Let me introduce you to the Sony a6700. This baby right here is one of the most talked about cameras of the year. It has an impressive range of features, from a flip out screen to 4K video recording to improved autofocus performance. It's also super lightweight at just 1.1 pounds, a crucial factor when choosing a camera to travel with. Before I get further into my review, let me introduce myself. My name is Jen, and I'm always on the run around the world. On my channel, I give tips on solo female travel, travel photography, and mindful living. In this video, I'm going to share all my initial impressions, pros and cons, after traveling and shooting with the Sony a6700. I'll also show you some of the images and video footage that I shot with it. I'll have the links to this camera in the description below so you can check it out there if you want. All right, let's get started. The Sony a6700 is the newest camera in the a6000 series of cameras. I pre-ordered the camera in July and it arrived just in time before I left for my trip to Spain. This trip was a month long, so I had a lot of opportunities to use the camera in a variety of different settings. So let's start by going over everything I liked about this camera and bringing it across my trek through Spain. First, the weight of the camera. I was backpacking on this trip and carrying my pack on my back nearly every single day. Just for reference, I was walking the Camino de Santiago, which, if you aren't familiar, is a 500-mile pilgrimage that takes about 33 days. Side note, check out my Camino series if you're interested in walking it someday. So needless to say, the weight of my backpack was super crucial on this trip. I needed a camera that was really lightweight, but also really powerful. So the Sony a6700 is small, light, and compact. It comes in at just over 1 pound, 1.1 pounds to be exact, which honestly is incredible. I'm super happy with how lightweight this camera is. I was also looking for a camera that could shoot both photos and videos. I love shooting photography, and it was super important to me to be able to take stunning, high quality shots while I was on my trip. I was traveling through the incredible Spanish countryside and seeing small towns that just oozed beauty and charm. So capturing those scenes was a need, not just a want, if you know what I mean. This may be normal to some of you who have this feature already, but the live preview was seriously a game changer for me. Live preview allows you to view your shot as you adjust the shutter speed or f-stop before you take the shot. So you can literally see your image getting darker or brighter as you make your adjustments. I was coming from a Canon Mark IV, which is an excellent camera, but it doesn't have this live preview feature. So it was a pretty impactful feature for me to use for the first time. Now let's talk about shooting video with the Sony a6700. One thing you have to remember to do is switch between video and photo mode before you start shooting. I love the video I shot with this camera. You can shoot at 4K up to 120 frames per second with the Sony a6700. The image quality looks incredible, and the mic also picks up all of the audio pretty well, in my opinion. The microphone is actually on the front of the camera instead of on top, which maybe is why it sounds pretty good. One of the best features of this camera is the flip screen. I mean, just look at how this screen rotates. This feature is so awesome because you can shoot really cool angles by looking at the screen instead of through the viewfinder. The flip screen is also really great when you want to see yourself. This feature is great for creating vlog or YouTube content when you want to talk into the camera. Don't forget, the link to this camera is in the description below. And if this video has been helpful so far, please give it a thumbs up. Okay, so I bought this camera with the 16 to 50 millimeter lens, and it came to just under $1,500 before tax. While this is a steeper price than a GoPro, the Sony ZV-E1, and an iPhone, I feel like it's honestly such a great deal for all the amazing features that you get with it. With this camera, you also get the ability to change lenses, which I really like. Even though right now I'm shooting with the 16 to 50, which offers a pretty great range between the wide angle at 16 and the more standard at 50, I'm sure at some point I'm going to want to buy a different lens. It's great to have that option and have more control over my photography. This camera is such a good investment if you're getting serious about being a content creator and also plan to travel a lot and want really great high quality photos and videos. Okay, that was literally all the pros of this camera. There are just so many things that I love about this camera. I've actually had a hard time thinking of a lot of cons, but there are a few things. First, at the moment at least, I'm having an issue getting the raw photos I shot on the camera read by Adobe Lightroom. From my research, it seems like the camera is so new that Adobe hasn't caught up to speed yet. In the meantime, I've been shooting both RAW and JPEG. The other con is that while the stabilization is incredible, it's not my favorite for vlogging when I'm on the move. I brought my GoPro Hero 11 on the trip and shot a lot of footage talking into the camera, walking at the same time, and the stabilization on that is literally just insane. With the Sony, you get a nicer picture, but the footage still looks kind of shaky if you aren't holding it really steady. Lastly, the only other con is really more of a personal preference. Because I had the camera stored deep in my backpack while walking, sometimes taking my pack off and digging through my bag to pull it out and shoot was a pain. Now let's talk about the other option I was considering before buying the A6700. I really had a crush on the Fujifilm X100V. If you aren't already familiar, that camera has been sold out basically everywhere for 2 years now. Demand is off the chart. It's actually selling on eBay for higher than list price. It's the it camera to have, you could say, and I wanted one. It does take really cool photos, and you can even build your own preset and shoot with it right in the camera. But fortunately, the Sony A6700 came out at just the right time and saved the day. Even though these two cameras are nearly the same size and weight, the Sony is hands down better, in my opinion, because really of the ability to change lenses. The fixed lens on the X100V is 23 millimeters, which is great, but not as wide as you might want for some travel shots. I really like a nice wide angle lens to be able to tell the whole story so my audience can get a sense of place. The image stabilization on the X100V is also not super great compared to the A6700. And again, I really like the live preview feature on the Sony, which the X100V doesn't have. Thinking that the X100V generally basically costs the same, at least at list price, if you can find it at list price, as the A6700. That's insane when the A6700 has so many more features and capabilities than the X100V, honestly. So all in all, I'm really happy with this camera. It's such a good fit as a travel camera because it weighs next to nothing and it shoots both photo and video really well. Like, would you believe I carried this in my backpack all the way across the north of Spain? Like, for real. I'm in love with the photos and videos I shot with this camera, and I can't wait to take it on my next trip. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the a6700 or if you'd like to see a comparison with another camera. If you're interested in shooting film instead, be sure to check out my video sharing the best film travel camera. Thanks for watching and happy travels.